It was a picturesque place to grow up, but for Michael, home was anything but peaceful. Raised on a chicken farm, Michael's childhood was marred by constant turmoil. His mother, troubled by her own demons, subjected him to torment. Was Michael's uncle, whose vicious mistreatment of Michael's sisters left indelible scars. These early years, filled with violence and world, he was a success story, a young man who had risen above his difficult past. But beneath the surface, Michael struggled with disturbing fantasies and impulses. The facade of normalcy began to crack in May 1981, just months after Michael's graduation. His first known victim was Zung Goch Tu, a 25-year-old student at Cornell University. Michael abducted her, driven by a dark compulsion he could no longer contain. Her body was found in a remote area, and there were no clues that linked her death to Michael Ross. The following year, in January 1982, Michael struck again. This time, his victim in March of the same year. Each murder bore the same horrifying signature: young women, abducted from rural or isolated areas, their lives snuffed out by a man who had become a predator. Michael's method was both brutal and efficient. He would offer rides to his victims, only to overpower them once they were alone. To lure his victims. Once they were in his car, they were at his mercy. He would drive them to remote areas where no one could hear their screams. There, he would carry out his brutal attacks, leaving their lifeless bodies in places he hoped they would never be found. Ross a trail of grief and devastation, but he showed no signs of stopping. His sense of invincibility was bolstered by his success in evading capture. However, his luck was about to run out. By 1984, the string of murders had left communities in fear, but Michael Ross Interrogation, Ross initially denied any involvement in the murders. However, faced with mounting evidence, he eventually confessed. His detailed accounts of the abductions, assaults, and murders were chilling. He described how he selected his victims, lured them into his car, and then drove them to isolated locations where he would overpower and kill them. Michael Ross was convicted of the murders of 4 young women: Tammy Williams, Deborah Smith Taylor, Robin Stavinsky, and April Brunez. He received the death penalty for his crimes. While on death row, Ross expressed remorse for his actions. He waived his right to further appeals, stating that he deserved to be executed for the pain and suffering he had caused. Despite this, there were numerous legal battles over the course of his imprisonment, with various groups advocating for and against his execution. During his time in prison, Ross participated in interviews and psychiatric evaluations, offering insights into his troubled mind. He discussed his abusive upbringing, his fantasies, and the compulsion that drove him to kill. These accounts provided a deeper understanding of the psychological factors behind his violent behavior. On May 13, 2005, Michael Ross was executed by lethal injection at the Osborne Correctional Institution in Connecticut. His execution marked the first in the state in over 40 years and reignited debates about the death penalty. For the families of his victims, the execution brought a measure of closure. Ross's death ended the life of a man who had brought terror to so many, but it also left lingering questions about the factors that create such monsters and how society can prevent such tragedies in the future. Thank you for joining us on this chilling exploration into the life and crimes of Michael Ross, the roadside strangler. His story leaves us with lingering questions about the nature of evil and the importance of vigilance.